So are you a beginner, or you are someone who can say that you've already done your basics in flute and you are ready to go to the next level? So in this video, I will be sharing 10 points which will help you understand at what level you are in, and how will you evaluate yourself against those 10 points. And in the comment box, then you can just reply on the comment box below that what's your score. If your score is less than 5, it means that you are still at a novice level and you need to practice your basics step by step. If you are someone who is between 5 to 8 out of 10, then you are someone who needs at least 8 weeks of time to practice to kind of complete your basics. And if you are someone who is more than 8, I would say that you are pretty close to completing your basics and go to the next level of playing, whether it is learning a tal or playing a full-fledged long form songs. So I'll go step by step straight into the point without wasting any more time. Let's begin. So the objective is just to evaluate how strong is your basics. The first point, obviously, I'm not even talking about how to hold your positions and all. I believe that's the basics. Once you know that, then can you really play Sare Gama Pada Nisa in one breath? So for example, when I say Sare Gama Pada Nisa, it is in one breath without breaking the blowing. Okay, so this is not just playing it, but playing it in one breath. Second thing is that do not take blowing break while you play mer to per transitioning. So you may be thinking that Saregama Padanisa is actually coming in one breath, but you may be breaking your blowing, like here you just gave a break in between mer to per transitioning. So just see if you've given that break, and if you've not done that, then fantastic. You are good with the point number 2. The third thing is you can sing at least 10 to 15 alankaras without looking at the notations. So one thing is, once you know your basics in terms of fingerings, then obviously everyone will tell you, can you really play alankars, but I would say more than that, can you really sing those alankars? So for example, if you are asked to sing 3 swar alankara, can you sing without stopping, without missing any note? Sa re ga ma pa da ni sa ni da ma ga re sa. And I'm not saying that can you sing in the sur, because I understand that people who are playing flute, they are not so much good with singing initially, and because you don't have the habit of singing, it may not be in the sur, which is okay in the beginning. More important is are you getting the swar sequences right, and not 1 or 2, but at least 15 alankaras, whether it is sa re ga ma, or sa re ga ma pa, or sa re ga ma, sa ga re ma ga pa, skip alankara. Then there are reverse alankaras and there are multiple alankaras, but at least you should be able to sing 10 to 15 minimum alankars without looking at the notations. Here the key is without looking at the notations, okay, not looking at the notations. And fourth is, once you are able to sing the alankaras, then are you able to play it? And when I say are you able to play it, I mean that are you able to play it in one breath? So a lot of people play the alankaras, but they are playing it, with multiple breath cuts. And the worst thing that I've seen is a lot of people take cuts in blowing. So no, not like this. It has to be in a continuation blowing. This is called one breath. So you take one breath aroha, which is going from sa re ga to dha ni sa, and then avroha, while sa ni da pa to ga re sa. So you are going and singing in one breath aroha and one breath avroha. So are you again able to play at least 10 to 15 alankaras like this in one breath aroha, one breath avroha? If you are done that, you are still just at the 4th point. Yeah, just at the 4th point. And according to me, most of the people who are playing it right now are not even at this stage, who are trying to whenever I meet people who are learning in my community, I realize that this is not the kind of basics that most people are clear with. Then there is no pressure, or there's no confusion over the blowing pressure when you play Padhanisa. Again, people do not realize that when they are playing Saregama Padhanisa, most people do not realize the pressure that is required to play Padhanisa. So when you play, please understand there are only 6 holes in flute, and there are multiple sounds you can create by changing the blowing pressure. And I've seen most of the people playing after playing Saregama. So it is sounding like this. This is wrong. This is, you are playing the lower octave Padhanisa. And most people do not realize this. Just because you are playing side flute does not mean that you are playing right. Okay, so just check if you are applying the blowing pressure. If you know how to apply the blowing pressure, if you are playing fine, fantastic. Okay, but if you are trying to learn on your own from YouTube, and if you're struggling, just check and understand that if you change the blowing pressure, there are different sounds, and which sound you are supposed to play when you are playing mantra, higher, like that. So we are halfway through. Congratulations. And if you are up to now, if you are clear with all these points, you can actually pat your back because you are doing a good job. The 6th point is, while I mentioned about mantra pa in the previous point, this point is starting from mantra pa. So whenever in the beginner, whenever I ask people to play mantra swar, what I realize is that they have to first play sa, and then they go to pa, because mantra pa is not able to, something that they play on their own. So when I ask them to play pa, they will first play sa. Okay, if you are able to understand, and if you are doing this, you can just give a smile in the comment box, because I know lot of people can actually do that. Okay, when they first play sa, and then only then they can go to pa, because sometimes they are able to pa, sometimes the sound does not come at all, sometimes the sound comes, and depending on that day, you don't have any idea why certain days it is playing and why certain day it is not playing. Okay, if this is something that is happening, then this is very common. It's very common. The 7th is, tar saptak notes are very clear and not hurting ears when you are playing them. So when people are learning initially, everyone, obviously people tell them that when you are playing tar saptak sa, play a little harder. But how much harder? Is it that the person who is sitting next to you is closing his ears? Okay, because you end up playing with so much of pressure that it's hurting the ears of people who are sitting next to you. So how much blowing pressure are you giving? Okay, don't play like, don't do this. Okay, don't apply so much of that, it just distorts the sound. Fine. No, you are not supposed to just blow like a boom. No, you don't need to do that. So avoid doing that and just observe if you are able to do this right. That is, tar saptak pa is played clean. So tar saptak notes are very clear and not hurting ears when you play them. And the 8th is, tar saptak pa is played clean and there is no sound distortion when you are playing them. So you all know that pa can be played from lower octave, middle octave and higher octave. That is one note that a beginner is supposed to learn in the earlier phase. This is one sound that you need to produce across 3 octaves if as a beginner. And most people do not realize the tar saptak pa is something they end up playing just like any other pa. They just end up blowing too hard. No, that's not how tar saptak pa is played. For tar saptak pa, you are supposed to keep only 5 fingers closed. The first finger you have to keep it open, and open like completely open. This is tar saptak pa. Don't play with all the holes closed and no, this is not how it is played. So only Mandra Saptak Pa and Madhya Saptak Pa are played with the holes, complete all the 6 holes closed. But Tar Saptak Pa, you have to keep the 7th hole, the first hole open. Yeah. The 9th point is that you can play at least 10 simple tunes which I had shared on YouTube comfortably. So I had shared some time back 10 simple Shuddha Swar based songs. The link is in the description. Just check if you are able to play all the tunes. There are 10 simple tunes. If you are able to play all the octaves comfortably, then you should be able to play those 10 tunes comfortably. So just check that. And no confusion over Tivra Ma and Shuddha Ma. There are 2 Ma which you can play. One is Shuddha Ma, which is where you open only 10% of the hole, and Tivra Ma. Tivra Ma hole you have to open completely. A lot of people I've seen, they keep their finger like this 45 degree. Okay, they think that the hole is completely open, but they don't realize that this is, you are giving still some angle to the playing, that is the air that is coming out of it. So you should not have this confusion over what is how to play Tivra Ma. And one of the exercises which I mentioned in the YouTube 10 simple tunes, where I have played a tune which requires Tivra Ma. Just see if you are able to play that comfortably. And if you are able to do that, then fantastic. So just let me know 3 things. Actually, what you need to let me know is 1, what's your score? Is it less than 5? Is it 5 to 10? Or it is 5 to 8? Or is it more than 8? And second thing is that, is this giving you clarity of how you will evaluate your basics are good or not? Now, how much time it takes? It takes about 13 weeks to kind of crack this completely. And it doesn't require like months or years. No, this is something that if you play for 30 minutes a day, it takes 13 weeks to do this. And I'll be doing a separate lesson soon on what should be your 13-week plan to get your basics week by week. How can you break down your task and play systematically? So if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, and if you want to know more when I put that video, then just hit the subscribe button so that you get the right information from my channel. And if you found this useful, just type useful in the chat box. Thank you so much for watching my channel, and just let me know your score. Thank you so much.